since Iowa, right? Like the offense seemingly has come alive here as of late. Alec Bohm, big weekend for him. Oscar, what do you make of the Phils since that Iowa game in the Field of Dreams out in the corn?
Nick, Pete, how are you guys? George, pleasure to be here once again. This was it was a tale of two different Phillies teams. I mean, the first one last week, we go to play the Cardinals in St. Louis. We win the first game 6-5, but then we forget how to hit. I mean, we get one run in 2 games. I mean, we go 1 for 15, 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position. And then suddenly we hit the Field of Dreams in Iowa, and it's a completely different team. Kyle Schwarber plays hero ball, and then we go out, wins the game easily with Luzardo pitching a tremendous game. And then we get Painter. He allows 4 runs in the first inning. And I said, this is not looking good. And then suddenly the bats woke up. I mean, I was impressed. It was one of the best comeback victories the entire year for this team. Alec Bohm apparently woke up. I mean, I don't know what to believe. I mean, to be honest with you, Alec is such an interesting guy. I mean, has all the potential physically in the world, but he somehow hasn't put together. But Stott has 1,008 of OPS in the month of August, and Alec Bohm have 952. So if those two guys hit, it expands the entire lineup, and it's a different game. I mean, it's Schwarber can do his thing, Harper can do his thing, and then Arias, we got Arias now, and then if you have a Stott and Bohm doing their thing, I mean, it just expands the whole lineup, and it's a much different. And we scored total 14, 23 runs in 2 games with 9 extra base hits. I mean, it's a different team.
Yeah, it's most definitely a different team since they've gotten back from Iowa. And, we started the show today, Oscar, talking about the Phillies and this team. And do you trust them heading down the stretch? They have one of the hardest schedules in baseball coming up through the month of September. They've been up and down. The peaks and valleys of this team are so evident throughout the year. Is this a team you trust to stay on a heater throughout the month of September and heading into October? I just don't know if I see it. Do you?
I was telling Judge last week, look, this team has the names. This team has the guys that you look at the back of their trading card, you say they have a chance. I mean, when you have Harper, when you have Schwarber, when you have Wheeler, when you have somebody like Duran coming out of the bullpen, you say, you know what? There are enough players here in that Arias now that it's a completely different hitter than whatever we have in the lineup. You say, you know what? We do have a chance. The bigger question is this team is too inconsistent, and that's kind of the reality of it. And when you look at our hitting, we're 15th scoring runs, and we're 9th hitting home runs. But the problem is, when you start looking at it, is we're 23rd in baseball in the amount of strikeouts that we get. We're in the bottom third in terms of base on balls that we get. So this team doesn't get on base. I mean, we were until 3 weeks ago that Arias got here, we were the worst team in baseball getting on base. But you know what? Our OPS with runners in scoring position is second in baseball at 790. So what happens is we don't get enough runners on base. So you're expecting the only way you win if you slug, and it's very, very hard to win games that way. I gave you the perfect example. The Phillies happened yesterday in the first inning. What happened? Schwarber hits a double. Then what happened? Stott pops up. Then Harper hits a fly ball that if he would have advanced the guy to third base, he would have scored, and the game would have been 1-0 at the time in the first inning. We just don't produce runs. And you need, in order to win baseball games against the best teams, you need to produce runs. And by the way, this team is 23-30 versus team that are about 500. So we're winning the easy games. We're 43-28 versus team below 500, but we're 23-30 against teams about 500. So if you ask me, I think the names are there. The windows have significantly narrowed, but look, we have a chance. That's the only thing that you can ask, is having a chance. This team to me is better than 2022 when we made the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that if they get hot, they look like the best team in baseball. And then when they're really having trouble, they look like the worst team in baseball. It's like there's no in-between with the Philadelphia Phillies. And I'm glad you brought some of those numbers up because, Heading into the month of August, lowest OBP in Major League Baseball, second highest chase rate in Major League Baseball heading into the month of August. Since then, they lead baseball in on-base percentage and in walk rate. They have a different approach at the plate. Alec Bohm talked about it after the game on Saturday when he had 5 hits for the first time in his career. First time this year, he had 4 hits in a game with those 3 doubles along with it. The approach at the plate seems to have changed a little bit, which excites me heading down the stretch here. And I'm hoping this spark that they caught in Iowa stays lit throughout the month of September and into October. But the one thing that is really I've had a hard time with is the fundamentals of this team, Oscar. It's something they've struggled with over the years, whether it's base running, errors, defense, etc. That's something that really concerns me because when you try and win a World Series, you got to win on the margins. And those little mistakes can cost you mightily. And we saw it in the Dodgers series last year. Those type of things, I just hope get a little bit cleaned up by October.
We're going to get Pete excited here, what I'm going to say right now. Look, I put this chart together. I know you won't see it today, but basically what I do, let me just put it up.
Bring out the iPad. It's all good.
Yeah, we're working out of the iPad. But this chart show you who the Phillies are. Look how much red and how much green is in there. This is month by month. I mean, I won't ask you to read it, but bottom line, this team is the most strange team that I've ever faced. Look, when you look at their numbers on a monthly basis, it's just bizarre. I mean, it's a completely bizarre team. In one day, I mean, 1 month you have the 4th best pitching ERA in all baseball. The next month you're 27. Then the next month you're leading the league, or you're number 2 in baseball in terms of the number on OPS. The next month you're 27th. I mean, it's just all over the place. I mean, it's just so inconsistent, this team, the way they play the game, that it's just mind-boggling, to be honest with you. Just mind-boggling. So look, in the month of April, we had a 4.67 ERA, 25th in baseball. In May, 3.19, 4th in baseball. In the month of June, we're middle of the pack, 4.20. In July, 26 in baseball in ERA, and now in August, we're 8th in baseball. So it's like a roller coaster. And the same thing with the hitting. I mean, the OPS 695, 698 goes up to 778, 9th in baseball, then goes down to 22nd, and now we're 6th in the month of August. It's all over the place. I mean, it's very, very hard to understand, to figure it out, this team.
Oscar, let me ask you about Aaron Nola. Had a really good start in Iowa. 9 strikeouts, 5 innings, 1 earned run, only that home run that we saw. I mean, the long ball is a problem. It's been a problem all year, but has Don really found a sweet spot maybe for Nola in this rotation where gives us 5 innings, gives up 2 runs, and then he gets them out of there? Is that something that you can maybe rely on in the month of September, and maybe even a game 4 if we get that far?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I mentioned to Mike, that I've been talking to Mike since the very beginning, were the struggles of Nola. Look, Nola has been one of the best Phillies that we've had over the last decade and plus. He's been one thing. When you find a pitcher of that caliber, is they need to reinvent themselves. There's going to be a point in time where they need to reinvent themselves. I mean, that's the beauty of baseball. He doesn't have the fastball he used to have, but now 7 out of the last 8 outings, he's allowing 3 or less runs. That's all you want from Nola. I mean, that's all you want from Nola. Look,
Yeah.
He has a problem with the long ball. He's the worst starter in all of baseball. He's allowed 30 home runs. I think 30 or 31 home runs he's allowed the entire year. So he's the worst starting pitching in baseball, allowing home runs. But beyond that, one thing that I appreciate on him, when he allows the home runs, the majority of them are just solo shots. So you can live with that. You can live with that. What you cannot live is the 2 or the 3 run homers that get you in deep trouble. So I am fine with Nola being the 4th starter on this team. I'm more worried about what version of Painter we're going to get down the road than I am about Nola. I think Nola is okay now. It's not going to be elite. He's not going to, I mean, he pitched really well the other day. The other thing is the management. One thing that concerns me about the Phillies is the management of the bullpen. There's a lot of inconsistency, not only in the bullpen, but how it's being managed. Nola has 89 pitches. He could go another inning. Why pull him out? I mean, he's allowed 1 run. Leave him in. You don't need to risk it. We ended up winning the game 7-1, but in the past, we've taken Nola either too early or too late. And you have to that part, that's one thing about Mattingly that I feel we're missing, which is the timing of moving the going to our bullpen. I mean, that is something that we need to significantly improve and have a better synchronization if we're going to have a deep run in the postseason.
Oscar, you invoked Andrew Painter's name, so I want to ask you about this. Looking ahead to the postseason, saying they make it and they're fine, they get in through the wild card, which is most likely what would happen if they do get into the postseason. What is Andrew Painter's role on a postseason roster heading into this year? Because is he a guy that can pitch 2 innings? Do you trust him to pitch 2 innings, like in a pocket in the 7th, 8th inning, 6th inning if you need be? What is his role looking like if they get to October?
I don't think anybody knows yet. I don't think anybody knows, and I think it will depend on what happened, what version of Andrew Painter we get from here till the end of September. I would say he's fighting for Sugar to be in the postseason roster. So he might, remember, he could be in the roster, but you might not activate him. Remember, you got extra players and all that, a couple players extra. So he might not be activated. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Look, I think his slider, his changeup are promising, or his sweeper and his changeup look promising. The command of his fastball is the biggest issue. Look, Painter was brought here because he could throw heat, and he hasn't been the same pitcher. He doesn't control. You saw it yesterday. Yesterday was so strange. First inning, you throw the guy a slider, and the guy put it in foul ball. He put it in the foul ball. He put it in the right field.
I was screaming at the television.
He throws
Oscar.
the same. A very similar pitch. Very similar pitch in the same location.
Grand slam.
He put it in the bleachers. And you're down 4-zip. Come on, guys. What are you doing? Pitch selection. I don't know who's. I don't think it's like Painter. I think it's somebody either Ramuto or from the bench. Yeah. So come on, guys. Let's be smarter about that. Throw him a fastball above the strike zone and see if he goes for that. But to me, the command of his fastball is going to be, to me, what is going to decide if he makes the post game roster, assuming that we make the playoffs. We're in the middle of a war with the Padres and Arizona. I do believe that we're better than Arizona. I don't necessarily think we're better than the Padres. I do believe the Padres did an outstanding job, the GM of the Padres, getting Mice, which had a great outing yesterday, as well as Gray, Ray. They got 2 very good pitchers, and we didn't get any. So I thought we missed a right-handed bat in the outfield, and also we missed a quality starter, and Casey Mice would have been a tremendous acquisition for the Phillies, and we didn't get him. So,
Oscar, over the weekend, we saw a report from Bob Nightingale saying that Alex Cora is really the front runner, and it's almost a done deal that Cora is going to be the next manager of the Phillies unless Mattingly leads the team to a World Series. And even then, you can make a case that Cora could still be the manager. Is that fair to Donnie Baseball at this point? Where does that come from, do you think? The timing is kind of poor when they just come off a sweep with the Twins, but I guess what's your thought on that leaking out here on a random weekend in August?
The leaking is the inconsistent part. The leaking part, because we already heard. They already offered the job to Alex Cora. He offered the job to Alex Cora when Rob Thompson was the manager. He offered over a weekend and tried to convince him to come here, and he decided he wanted to have the summer with his family, which I think is a smart thing to do for Alex. But look, to me, is disrespectful for Mattingly. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest with you, since the very beginning. And you could go back to the shows, the Phillies Fastball of the beginning of the year. I wanted to give Topper 10 more games before they let him go. They made the decision that it was time to make a change, and I understand why they made the change. I think Rob Thompson probably is a better manager than Don Mattingly, in my opinion. That is, for this team. This team is unique. This team has a lot of older guys and a lot of that. But look, the reality is Alex Cora is probably going to be the manager. I think it's disrespectful of Don Mattingly throwing that news in the middle of a potential pennant race that he's going to enter. Hey, you go to the World Series or you're out.
And I guess my follow-up to that would be, is Alex Cora the right guy for this clubhouse, for these veterans, for this window possibly closing in the next, year or two? I guess your thoughts on Alex Cora, because he kind of had a messy breakup in Boston, getting fired in April. I guess your thoughts on Alex Cora and how he would manage this clubhouse full of guys.
Alex Cora is a great manager. Dombrowski has compared him to the Lelands of this world and some of the best La Russas of this world. He believes he's a Hall of Famer manager. He managed the Red Sox in a very tough market in Boston. I do believe he's going to do a really good job here if he becomes the manager of the team. Now, there is a domino effect here that needs to happen. The first one is Dombrowski needs to get a new contract. And then immediately after Dombrowski gets a new contract, because of the relationship that Middleton and Dombrowski have, you're probably going to see Alex Cora as a manager next year for the Phils. Now, the question, look, there's no manager that can fix the issues the Phillies have. The Phillies has a players issue. I know that we're getting rid of the Castellanos, the Taiwan Walkers, and the Alec Bohm's contracts of this world, but then you're paying Luzardo, you're paying Christopher Sanchez, and you're probably going to have to bring a new third baseman because Adam Miller is not going to be ready. So it's going to be very interesting what happens in the offseason with the Phillies. I do believe they're probably going to re-sign Arias, but that means that they're going to probably they're going to bring Harper back to first base, and then this is the time they're going to have to make to me, the most important decision they need to make is moving Trey Turner to the outfield. And then you can play Stott at least for a year as shortstop, and I'm fine with that. Having a Stott there would be very, very important. Then you find a third baseman, and then you have a much better lineup with a quality third baseman than what we have going right now.
Oscar Budajin, PG, Nick Earnshaw here for Phillies Fastball on the Sports Bash, filling in for Mike Gill today. Oscar, looking ahead, right now the Phillies will have a 6-game homestand coming up against the Marlins tonight. They have the Cardinals following that, but then they go on a long West Coast trip. They got the Mariners, then the Angels, and then they got the Diamondbacks. How important is that series, or that road trip, I should say, for the Titans? To me, that's going to decide the season. What we talked with Mike McGarry for the Press of AC earlier, and we were in agreement on that. That's probably going to be a defining moment for this Phillies team coming down the stretch.
This team, part of the strange part of this year's Phillies, we play better on the road than we play at home.
Yep.
So that is, we're 32-30, almost playing 500, and lost 10 series at home, and we're 35-28 on the road. So the road part doesn't worry me too much. I do believe that we this series, this 6 games that we're going to have here with the Marlins and the Cardinals are going to be very, very important. I mean, we cannot be fooling around here. There are 37 games left, or whatever the number of games that are left there. You're going to have to, every game counts here, and you are in a dogfight with the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Padres the rest of the way. I do believe the Padres are going to make the playoff. I do believe they have a great team. And now with these 2 starters, with Ray and with Mice, they're probably locked it. The questions are going to be can the Phillies hold off the Diamondbacks? And that 3-game series against the Diamondbacks is going to be a dogfight. Look at what happened this weekend. The White Sox were faltering, and they absolutely swept the Detroit Tigers to secure. They're probably going to win the division because they were able to sweep them over the weekend. The Phillies need to do something like that with Arizona the next time they face it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating next month and a half as we roll towards the end. One last one for you, Oscar. The bullpen. That has been a struggle throughout the entirety of the year. Who are your go-to guys? What do you make of McFarland coming up? How is he going to be integrated into this pen as we come down the home stretch?
Look, there are pitchers that you can count on, and pitchers you don't necessarily need to count on. I mean, together, the guys that are I mean, your closer is Duran. Outside of Duran, Bolin is the guy that you trust the most. I like Riley. I think the acquisition of Brooke Riley was really, really important. I think he's going to be your top lefty coming out of that pen. I see him putting him in the 6th inning. I want that guy pitching the 8th or pitching the 7th or the 8th inning. That to me is going to be very important how we move forward here. Alvarado has to earn the trust. I mean, it's simple as that. It's based on performance. Same thing with Painter. I mean, he has not been pitching well. He doesn't have command of his pitches, and he needs to find it if he wants to have a role in the postseason. I mean, Kerkering, I would probably after Bolin and Riley, probably Kerkering is the next guy. And I do believe McFarland. I'm going to give McFarland the benefit of the doubt. I love his stuff. I mean, he has a great fastball. I like the location of the fastball. He needs a little better control. Again, he's all pumped up when he's going out there in first couple games of his major league career. But I do love that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I like, and look at the slider. I mean, look at how Buxton looked the other day with that slider. I mean, I like this kid. I like his makeup, and I think this kid can go a long way in helping us make it in the postseason. I do believe he could have a role. He could be like Kerkering. Remember when Kerkering came up, throwing those sweepers that nobody knew how to control those sweepers? I see something like that happening as well.
I hope you're right, Oscar. Listen, the Phils, they got the fish tonight. Struggled in the last series against the Marlins, but Christopher Sanchez on the bump for the fight in 640. Trey Turner back in the lineup after being out yesterday. I couldn't wait to do the Phillies fastball with you today, Oscar. It was a blast. Always love talking ball with you. And appreciate your time today.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Remember, Christopher is a guaranteed. He never loses at home. So hopefully that's a guaranteed win tonight.
I'm going to walk right over to that sports book.
Yeah, go right over there. We're at the Fanatic Sportsbook in Ocean. Pete's going to go lay one down right now.
All right.
Oscar, thanks so much,
guys.
man.
Go Phils.
Appreciate it. All right, there it is. The Phillies Fastball segment, which is brought to you by Ventnor Social. It's the place to go to catch every Phillies game on their 20 big screen TVs while page for up-to-date info and specials, plus the Sports Bash, Mike Gill, that broadcasts live on location at Ventnor Ave in Ventnor. Oh, man, I could talk to Oscar about the Phils for days and days.
He even did a little show and tell with the iPad.
Oh, he had the iPad.
Yeah.
He had the numbers, cracking them down. I mean, it was awesome. I've gotten a chance a couple times to speak with him in the press box a few times going up to the Phillies games a couple years back. He is awesome. But there you go. Phils tonight, 640. Sanchi on the mound. Need a bounce back against those fish after the last series that the Phillies had with them. I am Nick Urchaw, Pete G, riding shotgun, Josh Henning, back in the studio, filling in for Coach Mike Gill today as we are live from the Fanatic Sportsbook in Ocean Casino Resort. We'll continue with the Phils talk on the other side. And where does Andrew Painter and Aaron Nola fit on this postseason roster? All that and more coming up right here on the Sports Bash.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Never thought this radio thing would catch on so big.
On 97.3 ESPN.